Okay, imagine you're a spy, maybe back in the Cold War, right? Digging through some really dusty classified files somewhere hidden, and then you find something. It's not about troop movements, not nuclear codes. It's like a report, a catalog almost, detailing entities visiting Earth. Entities, well, not from here.
Yeah, that's pretty much the jumping off point for this deep dive. It's this
Yeah.
fascinating, almost unreal idea. We're working with what's presented as excerpts from a leaked KGB audio recording. It was transcribed, apparently, into this document. And it details supposed interactions with loads of different alien races.
It reads like some kind of secret field guide to ETs. So
Yeah.
our mission here is to, try and cut through the noise a bit, unpack what this document actually claims, who these races supposedly are, where they're from, their sometimes really weird characteristics, their history with Earth, all that, and pull out the most surprising bits for you.
Exactly. And it's really important to get what this source is and isn't. It's not some polished story. It's more like an internal report, just compiling details on each race, physical descriptions where they're supposedly from constellation star, planet,
Yeah.
how often they visited, the kinds of interactions, abductions, meetings, maybe historical influence.
Right, and whether they're like peaceful or hostile, their tech abilities, when they were last supposedly seen, and sometimes just these really unique standout facts, often pretty disturbing ones. You even see these little handwritten notes in the text sometimes, comments from whoever was allegedly putting this thing together adds another layer. It really feels like a peek into some hidden, super complex reality.
So let's maybe start by just dipping into the sheer range of beings this thing describes. I mean, it details races that couldn't be more different, from like incredibly ancient ones to the really, really strange.
Absolutely. And speaking of strange and ancient
Uh,
and maybe disturbing, let's open the file on the Dorsey.
yes, the Dorsey. Okay, so this record says they're tiny, like maximum height about half a meter,
Yeah.
their origin, supposedly Cassiopeia,
Yeah.
2 home planets there.
And here's where it gets wild right off the bat. It claims they visited Earth maybe 250 times, that the race is maybe 4 billion years old. 4 billion. And they've supposedly been at war constantly for 2 billion years. But the real kicker, this record claims they eat other aliens and humans.
Right, an ancient, warring cannibal species. If you believe the report, I mean.
Okay.
The last sighting mentioned in the document was apparently the Italian Alps, November 2001. Just that one entry sets a kind of unsettling tone for the whole document, doesn't it?
It really does. Okay, let's maybe group some together. What about the races known for, well, for taking people? Abductions. This document lists several, and often for really specific, sometimes conflicting reasons.
Yeah, exactly. So first up, maybe the Dries. Described as tall, about 2.5 meters. Complex skull structure, apparently. Visited Earth maybe 20 times. And the purpose, according to this source, human abductions. Specifically for reproduction. It claims they took at least 520 males and females for this reason.
For reproduction. Wow, that's specific. And chilling. They're supposedly from the third star in Cetus, got 2 home planets, and have colonized 40 others. 10 by force, using slaves. Aggressive.
Yeah, and the source notes they supposedly work with 3 other unnamed races. Diet is mostly animal protein.
And there's a note in there, isn't there, about them not being ready?
Right. Apparently from other alien reports cited in the document, it says the Dries aren't considered mentally or spiritually ready for interaction with most other races. Their home planet's makeup is supposedly similar to Earth's.
Oh, and this is interesting. The record claimed they had a plan to reveal themselves openly in 2022. Obviously, need to check if that happened according to other sources, but that's the claim here. Okay, then there's the X1Z. This entry's pretty thin, right? Only cited twice on Earth, origin unknown. But the key ability, shape-shifting.
Yeah, shape-shifting.
Yeah.
And fast. Up to 4 times in 10 seconds, supposedly based on what other races reported about them. Their activities, human abductions, medical experiments, that's the claim. Visiting Earth since the mid-500s. Only confirmed sightings noted near Turkey.
Okay, and the Kili Docker. Up to 2 meters tall, lived 200 years, from Vela.
Near Sahamalif, yeah. Described as one of the oldest known races. Also, shapeshifters.
But they have that weird limitation.
Exactly. The source highlights this unique detail. They supposedly can't change their eye size or color when they shift. How specific is that? The document states they do abduct humans. Last sighting noted, July 2008.
Right, let's look at the Lang. From Coma Berenices, 6th star. 3 or 4 home planets, colonized 10 smaller species, visited Earth early on.
Yeah, supposedly one of the first. And here's where you really see the document acting like a compilation, maybe of conflicting intel. This source says the story's about elves. They came from the Lang. But then later it talks about another race, the Alina, and says they started the elf myth. So it's not one clear story. It's like different reports bundled together.
Right, and the abduction numbers for the Lang are all over the place in the source, too. It says 2 races claim the Lang took over 10 million humans throughout history, but 2 other races strongly deny that. And one apparently told a Russian president they've never abducted humans. Total contradiction.
Exactly. Last sighting mentioned was New Zealand, 2006, a group of about 20. It really shows you how much disagreement there might be, even among these supposed alien sources cited in the document.
Okay, last one in this abductor group. The Matra. Average human height. From Magali.
2 home planets, yeah. Described as hermaphrodites, lifespan 120 years, colonized about 26 planets.
And the source claims they abducted 5,000 human males, and did it openly.
That's the claim, yeah. Openly. Visited Earth around 200 times, supposedly starting way back in the prehistoric period.
But what's really interesting is how other aliens supposedly see them.
Right. This is key. They're considered parasites by many other alien species mentioned in this record. And their alleged goal, colonize Earth. Just take it over.
Wow.
And the source explicitly says this goal has been stopped, prevented by protection from other races. Specifically names the Council of the Five, which highlights this major theme, right? Earth isn't just visited, it's supposedly actively protected.
Yeah, that's huge. Last Matra sighting mentioned was near Nome, Alaska, September 2006.
So shifting gears a bit, away from the abductors to the ones this document calls, like, mysterious, hard to pin down.
Okay, yeah. Like the Alina, we mentioned them with the elf myth confusion.
Right, this specific entry says they started the elf myth,
Yeah.
often cited in Germanic forests. The report says they're not lethal, but known pranksters. They seem to enjoy scaring humans who get too close.
And the behavior is so specific, luring people from cars, stealing stuff, then scaring them off.
Yeah, exactly. Last sighting near Mukan, Germany, December 2001. Not exactly your friendly Tolkien elves.
Then you have the Invisibles
Ugh.
from Mensa,
Yeah.
near high security areas.
Yep. Described as almost completely invisible to the naked eye. The source claims U.S. and Russian military have tech to track their ships on radar.
But the actual beings are still hard to see.
Apparently. The source lists 3 giveaways, though. A sour smell, reportedly. Their reflection looks like a smudge on windows supposedly caught on CCTV. And dogs barking like crazy for no reason when they're nearby. Those sensory details really make it seem, well, more real somehow.
Okay, another hard to track one. Kilamata, or KR.
From Crux near Gakrux. Very hard to spot, the document says. Even with special U.S.-Russian military cameras and radar developed for them, they've only been sighted 8 times ever in this record.
Purpose unknown. Sightings usually in the Bermuda Triangle. Classic.
Yep, a classic mystery spot tied to a really mysterious entry here.
And maybe the most mysterious of all, the messengers.
Definitely the most enigmatic.
Yeah.
Very little known, according to the source. They supposedly visit Earth roughly every 300 years, and the next visit, supposedly any time now. But crucially, they don't reveal themselves. No direct contact.
So how do we know they're here?
They leave signs, carvings, drawings, writings on rocks, symbols in historical monuments. That's the claim.
Cryptic.
Yeah. Their ships are described as teardrop-shaped, silver. They interact through riddles left in history, not meetings or abductions.
Okay, let's shift again. What about races this document claims were actually involved in, like human history or development?
Right. There are a few key ones mentioned. First, the Grackly. Average human height covered with soft, silky hair. From Virgo, supposedly 2 home planets. Visited Earth at least 12 times, allegedly.
And their first big visit was ancient Egypt, like 3,000 years ago. Stayed 10 years.
That's the claim, during the Pharaoh's time. And the source makes this incredible assertion, that the Jap pyramid was built in their honor, directly linking an ancient alien race to a specific, famous structure.
Wow. And they're still watching us for the last 200 years.
Monitoring human development closely, yeah. And the source adds, they know powerful humans can be misled by aliens disguised as humans.
Interesting note.
Their ships apparently only carry 6 of them. Last sightings mentioned, July 2002 and February 2004.
Okay, then the Kurs, a.k.a. Gods of Lands.
From planet Dimmons, reportedly. Believed related to the Saki race. And this record claims they are the ones behind the story of Enlil and Ninlil from Sumerian texts.
So, directly involved in human development early on.
That's the claim. And they supposedly spent time immersed in some kind of precious gold-like liquid, which the source speculates extends their lifespan.
And the really big claim here is they're back now, permanently.
Exactly. After centuries away, the record claims they've recently returned and plan to stay. Their own leader is supposedly among the recent visitors, expected to play an important role in the years to come. So this isn't just ancient history in the document. It's a claim about a powerful race returning right now.
Okay, what about the Lions from Lyra, ancestors of the galactic family?
That's how they're described. Reached high tech thousands of years ago, supposedly. But then fell into disagreement, war, destroyed a lot of their society.
So they left Lyra, colonized Pleiades, Hyades, Vega.
And many did, yeah. And the source notes that Lyra, like our region, might still be a battleground, with Saurian greys and humans involved, apparently. Some lion descendants reportedly came here to Earth during Lemurian and Atlantean times. We're considered galactic cousins, basically.
Paints a picture of like galactic history, civil war, ancient Earth ties.
And finally in this group, the Jizn, mentioned by Pleiadians and others in the source. The document links them to weird stuff found deep under Egypt. Strange people, tech. Seen by explorers, sometimes supposedly dressed like ancient Egyptians.
And there's talk of a huge cavern under Egypt, with ties to the U.S. secret government.
Yeah, the source mentions claims from leading-edge research, which sounds like maybe fringe investigations the compilers looked at. It suggests this cavern exists, inhabited by people tied to a U.S. secret government faction. Some sources within the document even hint the Jizn might be controlled by reptilians, although it says there's a lot of mystery.
Wow, that weaves together ancient Egypt, modern governments, underground bases, reptilians. A lot going on there.
Definitely. Okay, let's focus on a really central group mentioned again and again, the Council of Five.
Right. The source mentions the Elman race again here. It says they're peaceful, help create the council. And the council is these 5 races protecting humans from less friendly ones.
That's the description. They're even credited with a quote in the document. 5 universes, 2,500 species, 1 race. Pretty grand.
But we don't know much about the actual races in the council.
Very little, according to this record. But it does state the Emma race is widely agreed to be the most important one, not just in the council, but among all known races. They're related to the Soipi, apparently, but much older, more advanced.
And the Emma met with Soviet leaders 3 times.
That's the claim. 2 high-ranking USSR leaders, 3
Yeah.
times. They also allegedly tried to meet U.S. President Nixon without force, but he refused. He reportedly claimed it was too risky, worried they could read his mind and get national security secrets about the USSR.
That's a very specific historical claim. Verifiable. Probably not easily, but specific.
Yeah. And these races, the Council, used to be called the Council of Nine, apparently. They've supposedly been protecting Earth and humans for as long as alien records exist. Some claim millions of years, even before humans.
And this is where the document gets into those human origin claims, right? Echoing some other theories out there.
Exactly. According to several alien races cited in the doc, the Council, as the Council of Nine back then, watched human evolution from the start. From single cells in the ocean through primates, and then after some big interference event.
The Anunnaki interference. Tampering with primate DNA to create humans.
That's what these alien races claim of the document, yeah. Using names like Anu-9, Anunnaki, Anunnaki, they claim this tampering created humans, making us different from normal evolutionary paths. So the Council's role in this narrative became monitoring and protecting us after that alleged genetic meddling.
Why protect us?
They reportedly decided to, realizing humans might eventually join other races in development, enlightenment. So the document paints them as these ancient guardians.
Okay, and there's that weird thing about their meetings, the dates.
Right. So one alien race reportedly said the Council of Five last met on Earth in 1944. But then there's this handwritten note found on the original record, signed ARB, dated July 2015. It says the Council was going to meet on Earth in the last 10 days of August 2013.
That's a big difference, 1944 versus 2013. Shows the info might be patchy, even in the source itself.
Yeah. And that same note mentioned their arrival could cause, like, cosmic events affecting Earth's atmosphere, and that humans would see more alien ship activity around that time.
And the meeting purpose in 2013. Discuss threats. Too many new visitors.
That's what the note claimed, yeah. Threats to Earth and humans. And this concern that too many new races had been visiting lately, which the source defined as the past 500 years. So it suggests the Council's protection is an ongoing thing.
Okay, and connected to this are the Soy, the Greys.
Yeah, though the document says the Greys is just a human nickname. They're from Cygnus, described as peaceful, harmonious, one main leader, Jotun, civilization supposedly 2 billion years old. were ones at our level of development, apparently.
No colonies. Focused on helping other planets and races develop.
That's the picture.
Mm.
And they supposedly have one powerful weapon just to keep violent neighbors away. Suggests a protective role, even out there.
And there's that specific number, 645 options left for humanity.
Yeah, one race mentioned in the source reportedly said that humans have 645 options left in the next few thousand years to save ourselves, planet, future. But it depends on our ability to travel in space.
Wow.
And the source connects the Soy to the Emma of the Council of Five, highlights their ancient link, their importance.
Okay, let's dive into the ones this document really flags as potentially dangerous or controversial. We mentioned the Dorsey cannibalism, the Dry's reproduction abductions, but some sound way worse.
Oh yeah, especially the reptilians.
Mm.
Purpose on Earth, unknown according to this appearance. 4 to 5 feet tall, iguana-like, but humanoid, sometimes seen in black hooded robes, hiding features, even tails.
And the source claims they're extremely dangerous, hateful towards humans, even other reptiloids like greys.
That's the claim. And what's really disturbing is the assertion they use black witchcraft, sorcery, mind control.
Seriously?
Yeah, described as like a dimension-hopping sorcerer or priest class among reptiloids. And the record notes that potential link between reptilians and the Jizn we talked about hints at some hidden power struggle.
Okay, another worrying one, the End, also known as tall whites.
Right. This race supposedly has bases on the moon
Mm.
and in the moon, mining unknown stuff. Using slaves, though, the doc oddly adds they're well cared for, indispensable.
Moon operations are super secret, and this claim, almost permanent contact with high-ranking U.S., China, Russian officials.
That's the assertion in the source. It's a huge claim, almost unbelievable.
And they can shapeshift into humans, men in black.
That's the connection the source makes.
Mm.
Ability to look almost perfectly human, known as men in black. Use special dark suits for skin protection when in human form on Earth ops. Directly ties the MIB phenomenon to an alleged alien race with government ties and moon bases.
Okay, the gigantic, from horology, allies with the Matra, the colonizers.
Known allies, yeah.
Yeah.
Considered violent by other races in the document.
Yeah.
Visiting Earth for 3,000 years.
And they have sporadic contact with some Earth governments, but not the big ones.
Right. The source specifically says not the most powerful ones like US, Russia, and China.
Mm.
Suggests this really complex web of alien government interactions, maybe different factions talking to different groups.
Last sighting near Houston, Texas, February 1st, 2003.
And yeah, just to remind everyone, the Matras are also flagged as dangerous parasites wanting to colonize Earth, supposedly stopped by the council.
Right. Okay. Finally in this group, the Movantin Cafe. Shining ones.
From Vulpecular, reportedly. Allegedly met with at least 2 U.S. presidents, USSR Russian leaders, other high officials.
And here's another bombshell claim from the source.
Yeah, this one's big. It says they supply limited tech to humans in exchange for freedom to conduct abductions.
Wow. Trading tech for people.
And they supposedly don't involve other alien races in this deal.
They had a role in Siberian and Tibetan culture. Bases in mountains.
That's the claim. Colonized over 40 planets, 2 permanent bases somewhere in South America.
And they're 100% nocturnal, shy, harvest insects and rodents.
Yeah, lots of weird details. Harvest thousands monthly, apparently, not interacting with humans directly.
And that last note, 3 of them held by the Brazilian military for 12 years?
Allegedly, yeah. Visited by their own kind every 20 years.
Hmm.
Next visit expected around 2016, based on the source date.
Mm-hmm.
Last sighting near Roac, Mexico, 2003. The idea of aliens actually held by governments. That's another layer.
Okay, let's just wrap up with a few other really unique or mysterious mentions from this record. We noted the Alaf, earlier benevolent, interested in minerals near old mines, last seen 2005.
Then the X5 ticket. This entry says they were reportedly created by the Matra as slaves, and still used as slaves.
Yeah.
Sent by Matra into sensitive areas as messengers and to do abductions.
Created, like robots.
Sort of. Not organic, supposedly. Can live forever. But the raw materials are rare. Fewer than 300 exist, maybe?
But they can think. Fly ships.
Able to use rational thought. Fly ships, perform tasks, yeah.
Yeah.
Last seen near Brisbane, Australia, July 1997. That whole Matrix 5 ticket master-slave thing, it really paints the Matra as, well, pretty nasty. Not just colonizers, but enslavers, too.
Okay, what about the really distant one, the 2017 race?
Yeah, incredibly distant. Only contacted humans once, allegedly. USSR 1935. From galaxy UDFJ, 39,546,284. That's like 13.2 billion light years away.
That distance is just mind-blowing. How do they even get here?
Wormholes, apparently. Bending space. That's what other races call it in the report. Described as tall, blonde, long hair. Smelled like flowers. spoke a Slavic dialect. Odd detail.
And they left a message, but most of it was blacked out.
Exactly, about 10 sentences originally. But the compilers noted 9 were blacked out in their copy. The only readable part left was 2017 to 2022.
What does that even mean? Especially with the name 2017 raised, just this weird dangling fragment.
Very strange. Then there's the felines, or lion people, described as one of 2 primary races in our universe, arrived by invitation of these beings called the Founders.
Temperament described as warm, intellectual, maturing to somber, gentle, elders revered.
Yeah, the Founders supposedly gave them a planet in Lyra, called Enon, though the source notes the real name isn't translatable.
Eye color blue to gold, changes with age. Body color golden brown to white.
Right. And the source even mentions things like reigning patriarchs of 9D and 5D royal houses, naming Devon feline and Nanocumen. That definitely pulls in terminology for more esoteric UFO lore dimensions and stuff.
The Kalea, from Aquila, colonized 3 planets, live 150 years, seen in North Africa Sahara.
Yep. First visited Earth around 300 BC.
And the source says they do not abduct people. Main interest, mineral.
Simpler interaction, yeah. Last sighted near a volcano in Iceland, 2003.
Okay, Matrax, from Delphinus. Looks scary but aren't aggressive.
That's what the source claims. Not known to be aggressive despite their appearance.
Yeah.
Live up to 400 years. Visiting Earth for 4,000 years. Often seen in the 19th century.
And this is the other one linked to that movie, Independence Day.
Yeah, a note from the compiler says this race inspired the aliens in that movie. Notes that's the second race mentioned for that inspiration. Matra, with the colonization goal, was the first one they noted. It's interesting they added those pop culture observations.
Last sighting near Marles, France, 1996.
And lastly, the Miley, from Serpent Star Alliae, related to reptoids once, but not reptilians. First visit relatively recent, June 13, 1965.
No threat to humans, often seen around Antarctica. Reason unknown.
That's the summary. Another one with unanswered questions about why they're here. Last sighting, Antarctica, May 1st, 1997. So, okay, stepping back from all these individual entries, what's the big picture here? When you see this alleged KGB document lay out this incredibly complex, crowded scene of alien interaction with Earth, what stands out?
Well, it's the sheer scale, isn't it? And the diversity of the claims. I mean, race is billions of years old, visits going back millennia, travelers from galaxies 13 billion light years away, all supposedly focused somehow on this one little planet.
And the different ways they supposedly interact, it's striking. You've got alleged open meetings with world leaders, covert contact with powerful governments, tech allegedly traded for abduction freedom, abductions for really weird reasons like reproduction, some just observing, some leaving cryptic signs and monuments. It's a huge range.
Plus that constant tension underneath it all. Ancient wars still going on elsewhere. Races seen as parasites or actively hostile to humans and others. Internal alien conflicts.
Yeah, but then there's that counter theme, protection. It comes up again and again. The Council of Five, supposedly guarding Earth and humans for ages. Stopping colonization attempts like the Matras, fending off violent races. This report doesn't just list visitors. It claims Earth is like a contested area, but one with powerful ancient protectors looking out for it.
And even within this one source, you see all these inconsistencies and mysteries, like who really started the elf myth? What were the real dates for the council meetings? That totally blacked out message from the 2017 race, except for that weird time frame. Unknown purposes for some races, conflicting abduction numbers, and these huge secrets like the End's alleged moon bases and government ties, or the Jizn under Egypt potentially linked to reptilians.
Right. The document itself feels like a collection of reports, maybe some unreliable, some incomplete, a real mosaic.
So just to reiterate for everyone listening, our approach here.
Yeah, it's crucial. We're exploring the contents of this specific document, presenting the information as it appears in the source. We're absolutely not endorsing its accuracy or saying any of this is proven fact. We're just taking you on a deep dive into what this purported classified record claims is happening, this alleged hidden reality.
So why should you, the listener, find this interesting, even if you think it's total fiction or just speculation?
Well, because it lays out this incredibly detailed, complex universe, doesn't it? A universe with multiple species, deep history, all supposedly tangled up with Earth. It offers these surprising, sometimes really unsettling, takes on myths, historical events, even claims about current affairs like government contacts or military tracking.
Yeah, it fundamentally challenges that standard view of humanity being alone, isolated in the cosmos, or even just our own history. It's a fascinating way to think about other possibilities, right? A peek behind a supposed curtain at a universe way stranger, way more crowded than we usually imagine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This record, whether it's a genuine leak or just a really elaborate piece of fiction, it paints this picture where humanity isn't the main event. We're subjects of observation, protection, interference, maybe even prey, by loads of powerful ancient species with their own goals, their own wars, their own politics.
So the final thought, maybe, if even a tiny fraction of what this document claims turned out to be true, if there really were ancient cannibals, shapeshifters, meeting presidents, secret moon bases, councils protecting us, how would that just completely change our understanding of our past, our present, our future?
Exactly. What does it mean that such a detailed, incredibly complex hidden reality could allegedly exist right alongside our known world,
Hmm.
interacting with us in these profound ways,
Oh,
supposedly completely unknown to most people? That's the real mind-bending question this source leaves you wrestling with.